Throughout a standard conquest run, you're given a whole bunch of items for free that help you along your march through the game. These range from free weapons, stat boosters, promotion items, reclassing items, staves, vulneraries, and sellable stuff like gold. As such, it's possible to beat the game without having to buy weapons or items from the shop at all, since the ones you get for free are pretty good and can hold their own in combat. Obviously, there are some struggles since you get locked out of a few really good items that way, but even in most Fire Emblems, the best items are just the ones that come for zero cost anyways. As such, I got to thinking, how hard would it be to beat this game under the opposite rule set? Every single item that is not explicitly purchased from the in-game shop becomes banned from being used, and I have to really start considering the budgeting that must be done in order to comfortably clear maps. That's what I've decided to begin attempting today. Every single personal weapon, stat booster, map reward, starting inventory, chest loot, sellable gold bars, and Mycastle items are banned. These items are not allowed to be sold either, so if any is picked up, it must be discarded. There's a few other basic rules that I'm imposing on this run that don't really need much explaining, things like no DLC or logbook, but you can also find those in the description. So what is allowed? For starters, I'm considering the resources from Mycastle a currency, not an item. Since gold rewards from maps and villages are also currency, those are allowed for grab too. Selling weapons that I have bought myself is allowed, as well as forging weapons together, because those both cost money. There's a bit more that I could cover, but I think it's best to get more into the specifics when it becomes relevant. For now, let's get on with Chapter 7. Since all units are starting with literally nothing, I need to buy a few weapons from the armory in order to play the game. Corin needs a sword, Jacob needs a dagger, and I'm buying an axe and lance for Arthur, Effie, and Silas. It's going to start out as your standard Chapter 7. Corin fights the two enemies on the left side while setting up Vow of Friendship for Silas. I'm sorry you have to watch this, but trust me, this was just as painful for me too. Despite Elise being the literal bottom one unit in the entire game for this challenge, she's still going to be very useful for this map specifically in applying Lily's poise. In fact, it's actually required for this Chapter 7 to work at all, since we have absolutely no sources of healing. We'll be applying it everywhere we can, like here. Effie and Silas are going to share the bronze lance for this map. I could have bought one for each of them, but it's not necessary just yet, and it's more important to only buy the absolute necessities for now. Here comes the fun part. You know how normally you can cheese this map by having one unit block this choke point with high defense and take 0 damage? Well, for this clear, it's actually very necessary to do this. Mycastle has enough defense to barely take 0 from unpaired Faceless if all of Effie Parab, Gentium, and Lily's Poise are applied. This allows her to temporarily block the choke point and even 2-round one of the Faceless on this turn. After Corrin takes out the other Faceless, she won't need Effie anymore. Instead, Effie's going to be transferred up north to wall off the Faceless there, while Arthur, Jacob, and Corrin start to prepare for the approaching boss. Effie needs to move south to get in range of Gentium. She'll die if she doesn't. The tile that Jacob attacks from here is actually very important. From this side, I can position a unit right below him, which will make him completely safe from enemy lines. This is important because the damage he takes from Grisly Wound from attacking is enough for him to now get one-shot by the boss. Arthur transfers Corrin away in order to debuff the boss on enemy phase using Jacob's Dual Strike. Thanks to Guard Gauge, Effie is able to safely take Arthur's place and enemy phase the boss. Silas also has enough HP to survive one hit from him, which was relevant in a previous iteration of this clear where I didn't have the guard gauge available. Elise can move up one tile to withstand a single hit from the paired up Faceless, which is safe thanks to the one tile wide choke point. Effie and Silas aren't able to get this kill because they need to go back to blocking the choke point. Instead, Arthur or Corin need to do it. I choose Corin to get her to level 10, plus she's more accurate.
This is my chance.
Effie is the only person strong enough to survive the paired up Faceless right now, so she's going to block the choke point until they're gone. Arthur doesn't have a hand axe to train anymore off them, which is usually what I would do in a setup like this, but we can however feed some combat experience into Jacob.
Am I too strong?
This will do.
Now that the paired up Faceless are dealt with, I switch to feed Silas some levels. Silas levels in the early game are generally just a speedrun getting Shelter, and sometimes you might get surprised with his coin flip stats. In this kind of run, training his lance rank is going to be much more valuable than training his sword rank, because swords are overall the least valuable weapon type here. For now, it's better to only have the one bronze sword on Corin, and let him work on being able to use the weapon types that actually have 1-2 range in this run. Remember, every free item being banned means that I don't get to use even a single Hoshidan weapon throughout this run. That means no Kodachi. If a sword unit wants 1-2 range, it's the Levin sword or nothing. And the Levin sword on zero magic is not that good. Honestly, that was one of the more fun clears I've had on this map in a long time. See you next time.